Hi! So this setting is a bit different from my normal videos because I decided to try to test out my gimbal today, and also because the theme of this video is a little bit more casual. So why not introduce it from my bed? As you would have seen from the title and the thumbnail, today's video is actually about me attempting to do a 24-hour readathon vlog. I'll be attempting to read in these 24 hours as much as possible. Actually, I'm planning to start the video at 5, the timer at 5, sorry, so that it will be a nice number. So let me just start it first. So when it hits 5, I will press play. So I've actually done another video where I read for 24 hours. It just turned 5, so I started the timer. But in that video, I timed myself when I was reading until I hit 24 hours. I'll link that video up above if you're interested in watching. So this one, I happen to have time between 5 p.m. now until 5 p.m. tomorrow. So I was thinking, why not just try a 24-hour readathon, since I've never done it before on my channel and I've never done it before myself also. For today's tentative TBR, I kind of pulled a lot of books out because I'm indecisive like that. But the tentative TBR so far is, firstly, I would like to read Tweet's Cute by Emma Lord. So this one has been on my TBR for quite some time. You would see that my copy is kind of yellowing already. So this one is about Pepper, who is a swim team captain, chronic overachiever, and all-around perfectionist. Her family may be falling apart, but their massive fast food chain is booming, mainly thanks to Pepper, who is barely managing to juggle real life while secretly running Big League Burger's massive Twitter account. Enter Jack, class clown and constant thorn in Pepper's side. When he isn't trying to duck out of his obscenely popular twin's shadow, he's busy working in his family's deli. He's part of a twin. His relationship with the business that holds his future may be love-hate, but when Big League Burger steals his grandma's iconic grilled cheese recipe, he'll do whatever it takes to take them down one tweet at a time. All's fair in love and cheese, until Pepper and Jack's spat turns into a viral Twitter war. Little do they know, while they're publicly duking out with snarky memes and retweet battles, they're also falling for each other in real life on an anonymous chat app Jack built. As their relationship deepens and their online shenanigans escalate, people on the internet are shipping them. Their battle gets more and more personal until even these two rivals can't ignore that they were destined for the most unexpected, awkward, out-of-fuse romance that neither of them expected. So there is Tweet Cute. I don't think I've ever read a book by Emma Lord before, so this would be my first time reading from her, and this came highly recommended from my friend, so hopefully I enjoy this as well. Yeah, so the next one that I'll be reading, I've already actually started this book. It's called The Last Word by Taylor Adams, and Taylor Adams actually wrote No Exit, which was a thriller that, I mean, it's very hyped on the booktube community, so I would assume that you watching this would know as well. But I remember reading it and being like, oh my goodness, what is this? And it was such a wild ride, and I kind of binged it and it was so good. This author came up with another book called The Last Word, and I'm listening to the audiobook and reading the ebook as well. This one is about how a woman named Emma Carpenter, who lives in isolation with her golden retriever Leica, and she's helping to house sit an old beachfront home on the rainy Washington coast. Her only human contact is her old neighbor Dick and the house's owner Jules via text. It's about how Emma posted a 1-star book review of this horror that she deems as trashy, and she commented a very lengthy negative review about it. And the author is H.G. Kane. So after she posts her review, the author actually engages in her review, asking her to take it down, because he talks about how people like you who don't know what it's like to write a 100,000 word novel trash other people's books like this, and you threaten my livelihood on being able to become traditionally published because of your negative review. And so they engage in this online argument. After that, disturbing incidents start to occur to Emma at night. So she suspects that Kane is behind this, the author. Now we are just watching her like getting creeped out, thinking that there's somebody in the house, somebody near trying to get to her. That is such an interesting concept, right? Oh my god, it makes me like, I've always been very scared to write like negative reviews because a human wrote it, right? So I try to be as gentle as possible when talking about why I didn't like the book. But then sometimes, you know, when the book was like so bad, you can't help but let a little negativity seep through, and it's just like so scary. Like, oh my god, imagine this happens. Oh, it's so scary. That concept itself already intrigued me, and I'm just excited to read on and see for myself how this book will turn out. The other book is I've been dreading picking it up because for one, it's so thick, and I don't really find myself like enjoying the first and second book as much as I would enjoy V Shop's other works. So it's kind of like a bit meh already, and then the thought of me having to finish this, and I'm not sure whether it will turn out favourable, but I don't have high expectations, so it's like a lot of that going on in the background. But I would really like to finish this so that if I really don't enjoy it, then I can least unhaul the trilogy because my shelves are very much in need of space. I have just started on this actually. This is the last book in the Darker Shade of Magic series, so I cannot say anything about this book, and to be honest, I don't really remember what happened in the first and second book other than the fact that there are so many different Londons: Red London, White London, Black London, Grey London. Cal is a blood mage, I think. He can use his blood to travel between the different Londons. There is this whole political theme going on about the different Londons, and another character, Lila Bard, got entangled with Cal, and then she was introduced to this whole world. That's all I'm going to say about this story. I'm just trying to finish this series. I honestly think this is enough, but just in case, I also took out An Enchantment of Ravens from my shelf. This was written by Margaret Rogerson, who also wrote Sorcery of Thorns and Mysteries of Thorn Manor. I really loved Sorcery of Thorns. I felt like I would enjoy this as well, and it's a very short read. So this one is about how every enchantment has a price. Isobel is a prodigy portrait artist with a dangerous set of clients, the immortal fair folk. But when she receives her first royal patron, Rook the Autumn Prince, she makes a terrible mistake. She paints mortal sorrow in his eyes, a weakness that could cost him his life. Furious, Rook spirits Isobel away to stand trial for a crime, but something is seriously amiss in his world, and they are attacked from every side. Forced to depend upon each other for survival, their alliance blossoms into trust, perhaps even love. A forbidden emotion that would render both their lives forfeit. What force could Isabel's paintings conjure that is powerful enough to defy the ancient malice of the fairy courts? I essentially have 4 books for this 24-hour readathon. I obviously will not finish everything, but they are just there for me to choose between if I so choose. Yes, I'll be trying to stay up tonight, but I don't know how successful I'll be, so yeah, I'll keep you updated. And already we have 23 hours and 49 minutes left, so yeah.
The site where it happened, where 4 lives violently ended. In her mind, she had nowhere else to go. She re-entered the long driveway under a winter sky darkened with rain clouds.
Good evening. I have no idea how terrible this audio is going to be because as you can see the mic is here. But I need my hands free because you have joined me in the skincare portion of this 24-hour readathon. Oh my god, my hair is disgusting. Please ignore my hair. Anyway, I just finished The Last Word, and I thought it would be fun to do my skincare and also talk about the book at the same time. I am quite lazy with my skincare. I used to only just do face wash, but then as you can see, my skin is terrible. So I have recently started trying to get into the habit of using all my skincare products. As in, I have a set of April Skin products from my birthday 2 years ago, and I have finished the face wash, but the rest I kind of stopped using after a while because there were just too many steps for me and then just got lazy. So I am now trying to reignite using the products again because if not, they'll expire also, right?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Oh my goodness, apparently they have already expired. This one has already expired, but I mean it still kind of works. So yeah, anyway, as I mentioned, I finished the face wash, and then there is another like peel off mask thing, but that is still too much for me. So maybe one day, actually it's left like half only. Maybe sometime soon I'll get into the habit again, but for now I'm just gonna do these two. So I already did my face wash, a different brand, and then now I'm going to use the April Skin toner. It sounds like it's sponsored, but it's clearly not. And the April Skin Essence, Deep Moisture Essence, and I'm a complete noob at this. So please don't laugh at my lackluster skills of doing my own skincare. Yes, so as I was saying, I finished The Last Word, and oh my goodness, the middle I was like kind of not paying attention already because I just let the audiobook play while I did other things in the background because it kind of functioned for me and I could still kind of understand what was going to happen. Because for these kind of thrillers, you're basically just waiting for the twist at the end to see who did it, right? And then, I don't know, maybe get some thriller vibes, atmospheric vibes, which the book did give. We don't know where the villain is. Like, is it in her house that she's house sitting? Is it in the neighbor's house? That kind of thing, you know. There was that. I honestly was just waiting for the end. The book alluded to the author being the perpetrator. So we were seeing how a lot of the time she was just referring to the perpetrator as the author. I'm gonna talk about spoilers also. In the middle I started to drift from the story, right? After that, towards the end we started to find out and read about more twists, and that was when the story got more exciting. I got particularly shocked by one of the chapters, like the way the author organized the chapters. I decided to give it 3.5 stars. I don't really know whether to give it 3.5 or 3.75. because I don't want my rating to be like on a spur of the moment thing, because I literally just finished it, right? So I just gave it 3.5 first. But oh, I forgot to talk about trigger warnings. So trigger warnings for school shooting, suicide, animal mistreatment, death of an infant, suicidal main character, domestic abuse, and alcohol abuse. It was quite creepy, I would say. Not to the extent of no exit, but it also stood its ground in a sense, in the fact that if you just think about it as a thriller. Okay, on to the more spoilery warnings, but as I do this. Oh my goodness, it is sliding down. Oh. This is why I say I am not a pro. Okay. So as I was saying, okay, this is full spoilers already. So I thought that it was very smart, because in the end, I kind of knew that it wasn't going to be the author, because that would be too obvious, right? That's what the whole book has been leading the reader towards from the beginning. So in the end, I was thinking it might be the neighbor, but the main character also thought that it might have been the neighbor also. But then she kind of keeps getting proven wrong, because the author is actually at the place. So she kind of thought that that was the person. And then there's the big climax and everything. She kind of let slip to the neighbor, who is this like elderly old guy who used to be an author as well. So the link is that he was a best-selling thriller author or crime author 20 years ago, but then after that his fame kind of died down. So he's like living in this place. He lost his family because he hit his wife, and then the daughters reported him. Okay, it should be better now because I finished my skincare. So the author H.G. Cain that we thought was the perpetrator actually turns out to idolize the neighbor, who is known as Deke. They have this connection there, and then Deke said that he ignored H.G. Cain's fan mail, and then in the end he got like stalked by him and things like that. So that's how they knew each other. But the plot was that in the end she let slip that she thought Deke and H.G. Cain were in on it together. H.G. Cain's real name is actually Howard. Then after that it was revealed that the mastermind behind everything is actually Deke. So he manipulated Howard into trying to kill Emma as like research for his novel in order to learn how to like write better and things like that. So that was how he gaslighted Howard into doing that. Although it failed, because eventually Howard came to like Emma, and then he had a crush on her. So he didn't want to kill her anymore. So that was when Deke needed motivation. So he recommended Howard's book to Emma, such that Emma would leave that negative review because he knows the book is shit. Howard would then come to feel betrayed by Emma and then hate Emma, such that he would feel renewed again. But in the end, he still didn't do it. So Deke had to do it himself after Howard was taken away to the police and everything. He was going to make her look like she overdosed and committed suicide, because actually prior to this whole thing, she was actually suicidal. So she kind of isolated everyone from her. She volunteered to house sit for this house because she doesn't want to stay at her home and face her husband, because they actually went through something big together. So she's still grieving. So she actually wanted to commit suicide. She just happened to be in the place opposite from Deke. And then the thing is, the house that she's house sitting for is actually Howard's. So he is the son of the lady that she's been communicating with, who she thought was the house owner. So he was there the whole time, and that was why she became this target, because she was there, Howard was there, perfect opportunity for them to have a conflict, and then Howard to kill her, theoretically. So because she is suicidal, Deke tried to make it pose off as her committing suicide so that no suspicion will come to him, because the police already think that Howard did it. So then, what I was surprised about when I was talking about at the start was that they were talking about how she plunged into the water with like a very heavy backpack, and then she was under propofol, which is a type of anesthetic, so she couldn't really like fight or resist, and then she couldn't really move or anything. They were talking about how she finally found peace with the thing that she was grieving over, and I thought she died because the chapter ended there, and then there were acknowledgements, and then I was like, what? But turns out the acknowledgements was Deke's book's acknowledgement. So he planned this whole thing so that Emma would die. He could write a whole book out of it because he knows Howard since young, so he could talk about his backstory and everything, how Emma was like. He talked extensively about how he and Emma were friends, which they kind of were when she thought Howard was the culprit. And then he kept saying like, oh, my dearest friend Emma, what would you say to me if you had one more chance? I miss you so much. The kind of bullshit. Yeah. So that was what shook me, because I thought, oh my god, the main character actually died. She didn't, because the next chapter after that was him calling the police to mislead the police and to thinking that this is just an elderly neighbor, calling the police, requesting for a wellness call so that they'll go and check on her, find her fake suicide note, and then discover her death. But then turns out she broke broke out of the water and she walked to the police station. So that was the end of the story. The very minor details after that were how she has processed her grief and she is ready to move on and like patch things up with her husband. So that's essentially the whole story. Because of the middle that wasn't really grabbing my attention, I feel like I didn't know what happened in the middle, but I am still okay because I just know the start and the end. I forgot to update just now that before I started the readathon, I was actually at 25% of the book. So I have read 75%, which is about 264 pages so far for my first, oh my goodness, 7 hours of the readathon. So yeah, now I'm going to move on to Tweet Cute, which I assume will be a very quick and easy read in a different sense from the last one, because the last one is like a thriller that you want to know what happens at the end, but this one is like a fluffy contemporary, I would say, YA also. So yeah, I'm gonna start this now. It's currently 12 a.m. I don't know what time I'll sleep, but I'm currently still feeling okay.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Life for you by Dan Bitter and Emily Schaefer. Part 1. To be fair, when the alarm goes off, there's barely even any smoke rising out of the oven. Is the apartment on fire? I lowered the screen of my laptop down, where my older sister Kate is now scowling face is taking on half the screen on a Skype call.
Hi, it is about 1 a.m. I have officially turned off the light so you can't see anything, but I would like to update that I have reached about page 45 of Tweet Cute and I'm gonna continue reading in bed. I just wanted to continue reading while lying down, although I know that's not the best idea for someone who's trying to stay up, right? We shall see, and I'll update tomorrow morning, I guess. Goodbye. Good morning. So yesterday night, I think I stopped reading at about 1:15 a.m. and then I slept, and then when I got up, I continued to read in bed for a while. So okay, I kind of marked the place where I stopped reading last night before I went to bed and then after I got up this morning. So to show you how many pages I read, this was how much I read. So this is about 84 pages. So yeah, that was the progress that I made last night until now. I'm really enjoying it actually. So I had my apprehensions going in because this is a YA novel and I have kind of outgrown the genre already, despite me not wanting to. I just kind of naturally drift towards more of new adult and adult books now. But this one, the writing didn't really feel cringy. The characters, they're not like super childish. At first I thought the audiobook was terrible, so I was going to return it immediately, but then I listened to the audiobook narrator for Jack and I kind of like his voice, and after that I got used to Pepper's voice also. So now I'm just listening to the audiobook and reading this book at the same time, and it's kind of like mixed media because it's about them tweeting back and forth, and then there is also the Weasel app, right, that Jack created, so they're also chatting on there, so they have this interaction there as well. The tweets are also shown in the book as well. Let me try and find an example. This is a tweet example and this is them chatting on the Weasel app, so it kind of like helps the reading experience become faster because of all this mixed media elements, right? Oh, they're quite cute so far. So they are also table mates, and Jack mentioned how Pepper has this uncanny ability to differentiate between him and his twin Ethan, even though most people in school tend to get them confused. So he's like, oh, how does she know? It's very obvious to her, but apparently not to everyone else. And so now they're at the point where they have, okay, so I think I need to talk about spoilers from this moment onwards. So now they have found out that they are behind each other's Twitter accounts, but then they are going to continue because one is good for Jack's family's business because they used to be struggling, but then now there's like customers lining out the door all the way to the other end of the street. And for Pepper, it's good because her mom keeps pushing her to continue with the tweets and everything, the viral Twitter war, because I have no idea why, but she keeps pushing for it, and so they decide to continue doing that. Everybody on the internet is obsessed with their feud on Twitter. It's kind of like bantery. Very, very cute so far. I'm just gonna continue reading. Hopefully I can finish this before the timer is up because there are only 6 hours and 24 minutes. Yeah, so I will try my best to finish this book, hopefully, and I'll update you again if there is anything else. Good afternoon, time check. It is now 2:04 p.m. On the timer, I have 2 hours and 55 minutes left. I have about 50% of the book left, like 48% to be accurate, but I am determined to finish this before the timer is up. I think it's manageable. I'm at page 189 out of 361 around there. I think I can do this. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pull through. And I also have coffee. So I got a cold brew salted caramel latte from Coffee Bean, except that it's lasting forever because I had leftover milk that expires yesterday or today. So I added that and then I added more ice. So yeah, that is my cold brew. First time trying it though, and it's like quite nice. Like the coffee taste is really strong, which I like, and the salted caramel adds to the taste as well. So yeah, I'm gonna pull through. I'm determined to finish this. At least I'm still very much enjoying it, and they are still very, very cute together. That's all I'm gonna say. As for A Conjuring of Light, I was briefly reading it at lunch just now. I am 52 pages in, so not very much progress. Look at this. I am slowly starting to remember pieces of the story. The prose is helping me remember of what happened in the previous books as well. I would say it's okay so far. I mean, only 50 pages, so nothing much to talk about. But yeah, that's my progress so far. I am determined to finish Tweet Cute so that I will have finished 2 books in 24 hours. Yes, let's go. And here we are at the end of the readathon, back where my videos normally start with. With the end of the readathon, I managed to finish Tweet Cute over here. I finished it at 4:38 p.m, so I had a few minutes left. And I started rushing to read more pages of A Conjuring of Light. Let me talk about A Conjuring of Light first, because there's really nothing much to update except for the fact that I got into about 100 pages. Just as the timer rang, I finished page 100. So I was like, okay, that's just nice. There's 100 pages to add to my total page count. Still nothing much is happening except that more characters are being introduced, and I'm just like, who are you? But the plot is thickening. 1/6 of the book in, something dark is happening, and I'm just like, oh yes, finally some action. Because for a while I was getting bored for the first few pages, and I was like, should I just DNF this book? And then I own this book, so I would really like to finish it. So that is all I'm gonna say for A Conjuring of Light. As for Tweet Cute, I managed to finish it. It's so good. Look at my tabs. Not a lot, but I still really enjoyed my reading experience with Tweet Cute. The audiobook is really highly recommended as well. Trigger warnings for bullying, divorce, profanity, and stealing. It's kind of been a while since I've read young adult, so I was very used to adult romance novels. Then I was thinking like, okay, what is the third act conflict going to be? And I mean, there was some kind of conflict, but it wasn't like the typical romance kind of conflict, if that makes sense. Especially because this plot is so complicated, right? With the whole weasel thing, and then the whole Twitter thing, and then them falling for each other in real life. There's so many chances for conflicts to occur, and so a lot of things happen at the end. I will try to slow down the time lapse for you where I read the last 50 to 60 pages. You can see some of my reactions as well. I wasn't expecting some parts. I was like thinking that this was like a very predictable and easy read, but it wasn't all that, because there are parts of this book that surprised me and made me enjoy the book even more. The plot thickens, right, because of the whole weasel thing and the Twitter thing also. And you would think like, why the adults are letting this happen? Because for Jack's side, at least it's helping the business, but for Pepper's side, why engage with such a small deli place. You know, it doesn't really make sense. And then, okay, I'm gonna talk about spoilers now. It all makes sense towards the end because, very big spoilers, but basically Pepper's mom used to date Jack's dad for a very short while before he dumped Pepper's mom over the phone, which is such an asshole thing to do for Jack's mom. Pepper's mom used to work at their deli when she was young, so she wanted to open her own cafe one day, so she wanted to learn the ropes from a small business and how it's like. So she ended up like developing a few recipes there, but in the end Jack's dad took the recipes and passed them off as his own without consulting her, so it's like a very asshole thing to do. So the cause of this whole thing was Jack's dad. But I mean, if it weren't for that, Pepper's mom wouldn't have had reason to engage with the Twitter war, and then Jack and Pepper wouldn't have met. And by the way, their ship name is Pepper Jack, and it's so cute. It's really very, very cute. And I was thinking of how, for a young adult book romance, the plot is very, very interesting. Not to say that young adult books don't normally have interesting plots, but I'm just saying that it was very refreshing to have so many plot points going on, and just for things to be so messy as like how it would be like when you're a teen, you're in high school, and you have all these like messy things going on in your life, you know. I don't know how to explain, but it's very, very good. And in the end, I decided to give this 4.25 stars. I hovered between 4.25 and 4.5, but I settled on 4.25. The reason why I'm giving it 4.25 for now is because I enjoyed it, but it didn't give me all-time favorite feels also. It's objectively good, but it just needs that little spark more, in a sense. For me, either way, it's still a very, very good book, so I would highly recommend that you read this. With that, I have come to the end of my 24-hour readathon, the first 24-hour readathon I've ever tried. Oh, it was so tough trying to keep reading. I was getting a bit tired, and then I was thinking that I wanted to rest, I wanted to watch my shows, but it has helped my reading go so much. In this video, I finished 2 books, and I have read a total of 726 pages, which helps with my reading goal because at first I was falling behind, but then I caught up, and then now I think I'm 2 books ahead, which helps a lot. My reading has been quite slow this year compared to last year, but I'm still enjoying my time reading, so that's a good thing. I think that's all. So if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel for more of such content. I hope you're having a great day or a great week wherever you're watching. Remember to stay hydrated, and let me know if you want me to do more 24-hour readathons. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video.